Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, Doc and Prof go over a NFL Week 2 recap and review Week 3. Some interesting trends going on as John Gruden is still looking for a pass rush. The Giants. Elton Brand is the new GM of the 76ers and so much more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Debate Amongst Friends. Season 3, Episode 8, live on YouTube. I am your moderator, nay say your host, the Professor John Gotti, the advocate and the blasphemous spewing of the winner, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcasting champion of the world, Doc Lesnar.
Wow. I cannot believe you reached down from somewhere below the camera and grabbed glasses after I did the intro. You just did that. Who are you? Why would you do that?
You know who I am? I am the data analyzing ninja, the master of his own destiny, the king of Sweetkin, the Professor John Gotti of Biz Amongst Friends, of the Bit Amongst Friends. We are live. I'm here for you.
I can't believe you did that. I'm on tilt. Fine, I'm on tilt. It tilted me. I'm like, oh my god. I'm doing good though, sir. I wish I would have got a little bit of a warning for that one.
Absolutely not. We're gonna do it live. It's just like Bill O'Reilly once said. Screw it. We'll do it live.
Oh my god. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I mean, it's podcast day. It's gonna be ball night tomorrow evening with some NFL football. October is in the horizon, but yet it is like a leaf, and it's just wafting in the wind, unable to be caught.
Like or scum feather like.
I mean, Mama always said life is like a box of chocolate, but October is just never what you're gonna get.
Never what you're gonna get. But we have a lot to offer tonight on the show. Let's dive right into it. Where do you want to begin on this? This great Wednesday evening.
I mean, we had a lot of things happen in Week 2 in the NFL, man. I mean, and we say a lot. Like I'm underestimating how much things happened in Week 2. Heading into this week, in fact, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
But, absolutely. I mean, let's get ourselves started. I mean, we're going to have to talk about those Buccaneers. You know that. I mean, a man once said, who is currently rocking some new glasses this evening, that the Bucs may go 2-1 with Jameis Winston out. And everyone laughed at me. They said, I don't know football. They said, because I don't have a team, I shouldn't have an opinion. But year after year, week after week, those reads are real, sir.
So Ryan Connor McGregor Fitzpatrick played his mind off.
Would you say that Ryan Fitzpatrick, aka Conor McGregor, aka that swag guy from Harvard.
My goodness.
Would you say that he didn't, that he played his booty O's?
Yes. Clean off. Like, I mean, one game of 4 touchdowns is one thing.
But two games.
You know, and you're tempted
not just throwing 8 TDs. He threw 8 TDs, over 800 yards. Yeah. And only 1 INT. And there's only one other person who has thrown for more touchdowns with 0 picks. But we'll get to that young man in a little bit. But let's talk about those Buccaneers. Wait, what do you say that they do when they come out? Is it that? Like,
I mean, I don't even know what to even call it. I was again. So you saw it. I mean, I put it out there. The first play of the game.
35-yard bomb to Deshaun Jackson.
And I was just sitting there like, bro, is he serious? Is this like, this can't be real?
Now,
like I'm living a Buck fan dream right now. Like, it's like the first play of the game, and then you come back, you know, you get a defensive stop. You know, and we're playing against the Super Bowl champs. And I know last season doesn't count, doesn't matter, but
doesn't matter.
You're playing against the Super Bowl champs. You know, you expect them to, you know, give it all. And granted, their defense, the second drive, great job. But then all of a sudden you start to see those touchdowns start piling on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like we have a growing lead and the defense is not giving up the lead. You're like, okay, we're getting a little better here. So if you were to be right and we go 2-1, I would be okay with it. If I was to be right and we go 3-0, I would be okay with it. I think the only person who might have a little problem with it is Jameis Winston, of course.
Well, I mean,
yes and no.
Here's the thing, and this is something that I've heard a lot of analysts talk about, you know, with this Fitz magic that's happening, which is, right. You know, and you know how I feel about people anointing players when they're having a really streaky, you know, when they're streaky during the season. Like this is getting towards that Linsanity,
it is,
you know, level of attention that's happening. And I usually, you know, try to get away from that. I don't try to drink that Kool-Aid. You know, I don't feed into that hype. I don't stir it up a little bit. But I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing some really good team. He's playing some really good football right now. I mean, Eagles had one of the top defenses last year. Right. I mean, and they honestly didn't lose a lot.
They didn't. They gained a lot of players. I think the only people they lost were the 2 defensive linemen that we picked up. Bo Allen and Vinny Curry, but
they picked up one of the D linemen from the Seahawks, right?
They picked up Michael Bennett.
Yeah,
I think they picked up another defensive tackle, and they got a defensive tackle that was hurt last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, only thing that they
wasn't that Fletcher Cox?
No, I think it was somebody else. I think Fletcher Cox played last year. We'd have to have Chris look it up, but
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, forget about the losers for this week, right? I mean.
I mean, hey, you said it, not me.
But you know what, though? That just shows how far my reads are going right now, because that's exactly what you was thinking.
It is kind of what I was thinking.
In fact, it was more in the lines of, forget those piss ants, because my Tampa Buccaneers won the game. Let's talk about them.
You know what? And it's absolutely, it's true, though, because, I mean, to see us play, and you think about it, we're not even really running the ball. So a team is really going to have to stop our passing attack. And I told my brother over the weekend, as him and my cousin both equally shared in the hatred of the New York Football Giants offensive line, but we're going to get to that.
Oh, gosh.
And all I could do is say, you know, the Bucs line is looking so much better. You know, it's not. And people keep saying, oh, Fitzpatrick is playing great. Oh, the Bucs are playing great. But honestly, the difference is, and I'm going to make 2 quick points, and then, of course, you know, we can start wrapping it up. But number one, Todd Monken is calling the plays now.
Yep.
He's very, like, Dirk Cutter was so predictable. He would run the ball on first down, pass. If it was short, he's going to run. If it's long, he's going to pass. Todd Monken, first play of the game. Listen, forget this. They think we're going to run the ball. They think we're going to throw short. Let's go deep on them. First play of the game. Second point, Lovie Smith could still be coaching this team right now. If he wouldn't have taken the pressure of calling the defensive plays, and that goes back to what Dirk Cutter did. If Dirk Cutter was to be calling the plays this year, guaranteed fired if they didn't turn it around. But by him turning it over to Todd Monken, it gives him an opportunity to say, you know what, I've learned from this. I'm going to give Todd a chance. I'm going to take my hands off the wheel for a second and let it go on autopilot. I'm going to do game management personnel. Coaches who do that do great. So I'm going to do 2.5 points. Last point. The last time we replaced a quarterback like this and brought in a veteran, and I mentioned it on Facebook, we replaced Sean King with Brad Johnson, and we won a Super Bowl. So I think Jameis is better than Sean King, but I would go to say that with this system, Ryan Fitzpatrick is better than Brad Johnson.
Well, and I mentioned it last week, like the main thing that, and I'm not trying to say Jameis Winston's a bum. I'm not saying that he's a scrub because he's not.
Yeah, he's
but
not.
The main difference is Ryan Fitzpatrick is correctly utilizing the weapons that he has versus Jameis Winston. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick is getting the ball out fast.
It's almost like he got 8 arms out there. He just
exactly, and even when that is happening, you know, like even when like he's not getting the ball out fast and he's taking the 7-step drop in the pocket, he's out there for a while.
Yes, offensive line is playing a whole lot better. Like
compared to the offensive line last year, this is a totally different O-line.
And you think about it, we added a center. We brought in Ryan Jensen, moved Ali Marpet back to guard. We got rid of that bum J.R. Sweezy, who's back with the Seahawks. I got a chance to watch him actually play in a game, and I was just like, oh my God, I waited 2 years to see J.R. Sweezy play, and I had to wait till he played for the Seahawks against the Bears on Monday night. Waited 2 years to watch Sweezy play.
Oh my gosh! That game too. Oh my gosh!
Right, we definitely got to talk about that.
But I mean, final thoughts about this game, sir. I mean, this is your team. This is where you get, you know, those little kids, that little Jimmy, you know, the young girl Susie, like, oh, I like football now. I want to get a team. Like, sell the Bucks to them, man.
I think offensively, this is the offensive team that I've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 years. When you think about it, we've had these players for two. This is the second year now.
Yep.
Even the year before that, I felt like we had a pretty solid team. But when you look at it, our weapon group, outside of the running back group, because we haven't really picked up that running game yet, and I think Peyton Barber, he gets his 40 to 50 yards right now, but they're kind of playing Patriot style of offense.
Yes.
You know, it's real quick. We're not going to rely too much on the offensive line to hold these blocks for too long. Real quick.
And I'm going to need someone to hold down this O-line.
Listen, somebody's got to do it, and these guys are doing a great job. But defense still a little questionable, but I will say, last real quick thought, NC Central's own Ryan Smith, the defensive back, was getting roasted all preseason long. Oh, we need to cut him. He needs to go. He's been playing a great as a starting corner while we wait for Brent Grimes to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm feeling good about it. I want you to know, though, moving on to these other games, I think I got almost 80% of the other games wrong. 80%.
I believe I had most of mine's right. I know I have the Ravens game incorrect, but I mean, who knew that the Red Rocket was gonna go off like that? Like,
no, it was. I mean, AJ Green. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he came back. He got 3 TDs. I mean, he came out there and ball. Like, if you had him for fantasy, you're very happy with his production. But like that's one of the things I dislike about Thursday night football games. Like, it's hard to predict those games because it's such a off-peak night, and like people are playing on a short week too. So like anything can happen. Anything can happen.
And honestly, just watching it, and I didn't know if it was the Bengals defense but Joe Flacco just looks uninterested in playing football anymore.
Joe Flacco is the type of quarterback that people say that Ryan Fitzpatrick is. Like, when he wants to play, he'll freaking play. But when he wants to be a bum, he'll be a bum. And granted, Joe Flacco, he didn't have a terrible game, 376, 2 TDs, but he threw 2 picks, and those 2 picks was pretty bad.
Terrible, yeah.
It was pretty bad. If looking at it, full circle wise, like if you just take away what happened after the picks, the fact that he has 2 picks, 2 TDs, but almost threw for 400 yards is pretty ridiculous.
But they were behind most of the game, so
they was playing catch up the whole game.
Yeah, so
like it was like watching my Knickerbockers back in 2008, 2009. Like, just always playing from behind. It doesn't work that way. Like, it's not the way that you want a team to conduct themselves going throughout the season. We got 17 games, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you don't want to spend. And I believe we had a team like 2 years ago who made it a great habit of theirs to always come back in the fourth quarter, but it's not the Colts, which I don't remember which team it was, but you know who I'm talking about though. And by the time they actually made it, no, it wasn't the Bucks. No, they actually made it to the playoffs.
Okay, it was I know it's a little bit. Was it the Vikings?
I don't remember, but you know that what I'm talking about. That was like 2-3 years ago. It was a team that was always just coming back from fourth quarter, and it died. It fizzled out in the playoffs.
No, yeah, I do recall. I don't remember what team it was, but I do recall what you're referring to. I mean, and to me, it's I just don't know. I don't know how long they can go with Flacco.
I don't know either.
I mean,
I don't know either. And this might be the season where we will see that. Well, probably not during the season, maybe mid-season, but like by the end of this season, heading into next season, we'll probably see a changing of the guards in the Ravens.
He gets paid too much money to not succeed.
He gets paid way too much money. Like
way too much money.
Like Joe Flacco is not getting enough heat at all. He's getting way too little heat for his performances. Like, in fact, I don't like agreeing with this person, but Skip Bayless is right when he calls Joe Flacco Joe Fluco, because he'll throw almost 500 yards for one game, but then he'll throw 5 picks the next game.
That's true.
Well, it's just a thing. I mean, and any other thoughts about this game before we continue on, sir?
No.
Because I want to go from a terrible quarterback to an up-and-coming quarterback. Patrick Mahomes II has set an NFL record for the first 2 games of a regular season by throwing 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns with 0 picks.
I knew they were saying that he was ready, but
he was like, this was the best case scenario. You're playing with a coach that is so great offensively when you think about it. Like that defense still needs a lot of work, but that offense is top 5 dead or alive, and that's definitely on 1LP.
1LP.
Like, They defeated the Steelers 42-37. But to be honest with you,
on that one.
To be honest with you, and I called the Chiefs too. I was like, watch out for that one.
Yeah, I was definitely on that one.
I was like, no, my gut is telling me Patrick Mahomes is gonna do something special. And you know what? He definitely didn't disappoint.
I can agree. I mean, not even close to disappointment.
I had red flags with the Steelers after week 1 with the Browns. Like, and granted, we both were really high on the Browns, but like they didn't play like a Steelers team that, you know, wanted to face the Patriots in the playoffs, 2 years ago?
True, they did. Yeah, that's
like
true.
They don't look like that team at all.
Even last year.
Yeah, even last year, and they lost to Jacksonville at home.
Right. They just don't. It just doesn't seem like the same Steelers team. I don't know what's going on. I know this whole Le'Veon Bell thing is going on.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell, not AB, like.
Yeah, and he didn't really have a superb game. It seems like Juju is starting to kind of outshine him a little bit, but that's probably because they're doubling AB.
I feel like that's probably not the case. I feel like now they're starting to spread the ball out a little bit more, so like people are starting to get theirs. But you know, AB's been so used to getting so many balls thrown to him. Right. You know, like I believe they said he catches almost 80% of his balls, and that's probably still underestimating it. 80% of the footballs thrown at him. I'd need to add context to that for the Duchess.
Please.
But like that kind of production is unheard of for a wide receiver, unless the wide receiver plays for a crappy team. Like let's just lay right there on the table. But we're talking about a playoff caliber team with a rich pedigree, with, you know, a really good coach in Mike Tomlin, a player's coach who now lost the locker room, according to most sources. And that's the thing that the people are going to ask you right now. They're going to say, Doc, is Mike Tomlin losing his locker room? Like,
I think they would say that Mike Tomlin lost the locker room last year when he had that spit lodged into his beard and nobody told him. Okay. I think it's been since then, since not only has he lost the locker room, but I think he lost the fans. I mean, it's been a long time, you know, and the Steelers fans are tough. Like they're really, really tough. I mean, they're up there. No. They're up there. No. They think their team is, you know, the greatest thing.
We're talking about the same. We're talking about the same team that didn't want Michael Vick on their squad, and you know he led them to like 2-3 straight games in a row.
I'm just trying to tell you, man.
Like the Cowboys, like, oh, he has a record. Don't worry about it. As long as he can tackle, I'm all good with it. Come on.
But I'm talking about as far as both teams are living. I feel like a lot of teams that are historically good live in the past
way too much. I mean, and I posted out there on, you know, Debate Amongst Friends Instagram, Debate Amongst Friends group page, a very funny meme in regards to the Cowboys and, you know, VHS tapes, which, you know, for those millennials out there, like those were what we used to use to watch videos back in the day. We don't use DVDs or YouTube, so
right.
But like, you know, using VHS tapes to watch the Cowboys championship games, like the VHS tapes have like a 25-year lifespan. I don't think they're able to watch it anymore. Like y'all better get that NFL Network and get that NFL Vault.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think that, you know, I can't believe Cowboy fans really talk.
Well, let's not talk about the Cowboys yet.
Well, okay.
Let's stick with this game, because there's a lot of things we both have to say about that other game.
Of course, but that's the thing. I mean, I think the Steelers, I guess resting on your laurels is kind of where I guess I would say they do. Like, you know, the Super Bowl that they won a couple of years ago. I mean,
a couple of years ago, like when did they win the Super Bowl? Was it like 2007 against the Cardinals? And the last time they was in the Super Bowl was against Aaron Rodgers, then they lost? Like, what?
I mean, but the way they talk about it, it was 2009, but the way they talk about it.
2009 was...
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl 2009.
Okay. Oh, yeah, San Antonio Holmes, yeah.
So, exactly. So, my thing is, they talk about it like it was
yesterday. Yeah.
You know, so...
But that's so many fan bases, though. I mean...
so tough.
I mean, Nets fans out there are still talking about when they won the ABA title. You know, Net fans are still talking about when they went to 2 straight finals and got spanked.
They did. I mean, you think about it. I'm sure Seahawks fans are still, you know, trying to hang in there. Like, oh, we won a Super Bowl. But no.
Because I think that ship has sailed. Like they all went out to Oakland and became Golden State fans. I'm just saying.
Hey, they gotta do what they gotta do. But I mean, I just don't know. I think Patrick Mahomes is a great young quarterback. I mean, I credit Andy Reid and the Chiefs for really believing in him, really, because it's hard to believe in a young quarterback, especially somebody that has to follow, you know, you would assume a really efficient Alex Smith. Now, think about it like this. It seems as though every quarterback that's under Alex Smith seems to be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I wonder who's in Washington that he's grooming right now. He must be the quarterback guru.
The quarterback groomer.
Yeah, it must be Alex Smith. I mean, because think about it. I mean, what Colin Kaepernick was able to do coming in and replacing him, and now you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, you know, being handed the keys. It's kind of just like, okay, I mean,
and that's on the back of Alex Smith having a career year.
Right.
Like that's the part that people don't understand. Like if people start thinking about Alex Smith, you know, pedestrian quarterback, you know, Alex check down and things like he was having a career year, ladies and gentlemen. Like
it was Joe Montana, like, because he went from San Francisco to the Chiefs. Joe Montana.
I can't believe you said that.
I'm serious. He was having a Joe Montana like year.
I can't.
You can't?
I can't.
No?
I can't believe. Did you just compare Joe Montana to Alex Smith? Please tell me.
Just when he went to the Chiefs. That's it.
I was like, I need all the context in the world right there, because if he was saying what I think he was saying, we're gonna need to cut the stream early tonight.
I mean, I'm just saying,
like, we're gonna cut the stream. We're gonna have to take down this video. We're gonna have to put a video apology to 49ers fans and Chiefs fans for even insinuating such a thing.
I mean, why would we have to do that? I mean, he was having a great year.
You gave me context. Story. I'm more than prepared to move on.
Oh my God.
Let's move on.
I can't believe you're saying this.
But the major takeaway that I see here, I mean, you know, Patrick Mahomes, he's gonna cool down a little bit. It happens, you know, you get a streaky start, but that defense needs to step up, because having like given up 37 points, and how much did they give up last week? Do you remember? Top of your head?
I can look really quickly because I have the thing up right here. They gave up 28 last week. Yeah,
so giving up 28 and 37, I don't think that's going to fare well as the season progresses. Like, I would say that's the one thing I think that they need to improve on, because I mean, Patrick Mahomes got some weapons. Patrick Mahomes got weapons. I mean, it's like Heath Slater, like he got kids.
Oh my God, not kids. But that just seems to be the consensus, though. I mean, look at the Bucks. The Bucks gave up 40 points, or I mean, when we had to score 48.
Yeah.
This week we had to score 27. We gave 21. So I mean, I think it's just the nature of the offense putting up a lot of points. But just to go back really quickly and not stay on it too long, but Alex Smith's numbers in Kansas City were better than Joe Montana's.
Yeah. We really going to talk about generational gaps for quarterback play? Are we really going to do this right now?
No.
I mean, we could go into that. Let's not though.
Sure, because I don't want you to shut the show down and send an apology. Because I mean, Alex,
you're really trying to insinuate that Joe Montana had a worse stint with the Chiefs than Alex Smith.
He did by the numbers. He did. I mean, take a look if you need to after the show. Do your little research.
Oh gosh.
Do the stats and everything. He really did.
I really hope I'm over here looking at Chris and he's checking the chat and Chris is sweating over there, ladies and gentlemen. He is absolutely
Alex Smith
perforating sweat down his forehead.
Alex Smith had 2 great years, and they just were better than Joe Montana.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let you. For those that know, that is the podcasting beast, Doc Lesnar, Doc Ocean, who said that, not Professor John Gotti. I just want that to be known right now.
They can look it up right now. But let's move on to some other things.
Let's talk about the Browns versus the Saints, a close nail biter.
That was so disappointing.
The kicker, he got cut after the game. I felt so bad for him.
He missed a lot of field goals.
He was just like your kicker. Just like your kicker.
Which my kicker probably needs to be cut too.
No, you know which kicker I'm talking about.
I know which all of them.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Come on.
I do know who you're talking about.
In fact, there's someone I'm going to talk about because Chisel O'Donnell, make sure you check out his YouTube videos, did an entire video about this that second kicker, telling him to put his MFN head back down.
Head down. And this kicker is gonna have to eat that same fate, unfortunately. But
he's gonna have to.
Kickers, I think with them, and I don't know why they moved the extra point back. I mean, I never really understood it, but I guess they were trying to coerce teams into going for 2 points.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, it's too risky. I mean, most of the time, kickers used to be so automatic from 35. I mean, now it's just I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him, but then I kind of was like, it's
you glad Browns. It's not you?
Yeah, it's the Browns.
And you're right. And that's the worst part is the fact that it is the Browns. They just always find a way to shoot themselves on their foot. Tyrod Taylor threw an absolute dime late in the game. A dime. Dilford was weeping in the studio in the post game with how beautiful that dime was. It was ridiculous. They shot themselves in the foot and lost. They're now 0-1-1. This is ridiculous.
It is.
But the Saints, they came out to play. Not really, but they came out to play. 243, 2 TDs for Drew Brees. The running game was pretty much non-existent, if you really want to be honest.
The Browns' defense is not bad.
The defense isn't the problem. It's just something, and I think you might be right. It might just be the coaching. They just might need to put the young guy in under center. It might be Baker time.
Now, my thing is, if I'm Sean Payton, you give up 48 points to the Bucks, and you're like, okay, let's see what's going on. You come back, and you're in a shootout with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mark Ingram really the missing link here?
But did I not tell you that? Did I not tell you that?
Yeah, but Kamara should be able to carry the load a little bit.
But did I not tell you that though? Did I not tell you that it was that 1-2 punch in that run game?
So Mark now they got Ingram, one punch and they can't do nothing?
I mean, we're obviously not talking about a one-punch man.
We are, I think. We're talking about one punch.
We're talking about a 1-2.
One punch
dynamic. I mean, but think about it. What helped them last season? It was that 1-2 punch.
Right.
Like, Alvin Kamara only had 13 carries. How many carries did he average last year? I think it was around that much, but like
probably about the same.
Mark Ingram was carrying most of the load. If you really think about it, it's Mark Ingram carrying most of that load. You're gonna see a shift in dynamic once he comes back.
This is true.
I mean, and we're gonna get right back on the show. You're gonna be like, I mean, I hate the fact that you're right, but you're right, man.
We'll see, though. I mean, ultimately, it's going to come down to, honestly, the defense.
And that's fair. And you know, the Browns' defense is only getting better. It's like I said, I think it just might be coaching. Like they have the tools, they really do.
Right.
They have the tools. In fact, they should be 2-0 right now, and they're not.
I don't know about that.
I think they should have been 2-0. They could have beaten the Steelers. They could have beaten the Steelers week 1.
Not with the way Tyrod was playing. I think Tyrod is, like I said, he's just not the kind of quarterback I think that's going to outduel somebody like Ben Roethlisberger.
Wow, and the light shines back onto the dock, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all thought that y'all missed him, and he said, let there be light, because I'm a beast.
Wow. But yeah, I think ultimately the Steelers, that Steelers game, which that's one that Mike Tomlin could get fired for. Tying with the Browns, he could get fired for.
I feel like any coach who would tie with the Browns would probably get fired for it. If you really want to be like petty about it, let's just call the spade to spade.
I agree.
Okay.
I had to move here, but I'm back.
I mean, for those out there that don't know, I mean, you know, sometimes the doc, he says, I'm going to be in the studio. Other times they said, time to go mobile.
All right. You need to move. So let me move.
No worries, man. No worries. I mean, let's talk about another game that was pretty interesting. I mean, Andrew Luck and those Colts, 21-9 against the Redskins.
Well, I will say that the Redskins cost some of my buddies some money, actually. And he was pretty upset. And actually, one of the guys on my advisory board, he's actually a Redskins fan, and he said, "Oh yeah, the Redskins are looking good this year." And I sit there and say, "Well, they're not looking good today. They're not looking good at all."
The Redskins look like absolute hot Arizona August time trash.
Now, if you're saying that Alex Smith compared to Joe Montana,
wow, I thought we was over this part. Like you're tempting us to stop the stream. Like Chris got his hands on the button to stop the live feed. Like, let's just stop it.
Now, if you're talking about that, that's something completely different. That is way too much heat on Alex Smith.
No, I feel like he's not getting enough heat in that regard then. But you're the Redskins look absolutely terrible.
Yeah, they did. You're absolutely right.
It looked like they did absolutely nothing on the offensive end. You know, the defense was there, I guess. I mean, Andrew Luck only threw for $179.
But you know something? I mean, Alex Smith still had 293 yards. He didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any interceptions. I think, honestly,
but the problem is the fact that they couldn't score. Like, yeah, it's great that he almost had 300 yards passing, but like getting 300 and we talked about that a few years ago with Cam Newton when he almost had like 400 yards passing.
True.
And no touchdowns. And we're like, that's not acceptable at all. It doesn't matter who you are. So the fact that he was only 8 yards away from 300, no, that's a participation trophy right there. No, it doesn't fly like that.
Wow,
like here's your blue ribbon. At least you tried. No,
I mean the run game didn't really help either. I mean
the run game was terrible.
Yeah. But this game just didn't seem like something that I would have watched on TV. I probably would have went and changed my oil or something.
I honestly felt like this was probably one of those blackout games.
Trolled game. It was a troll game.
It was trolling us. Trolling us.
Trolling Thunder.
The Redskins gotta stop robbing the fans. Stop robbing them.
That's good. Let's skip around a little bit.
I mean, let's talk about that big story. Let's talk about that big story that happened. A certain event occurred during a beatdown, and a player was like, you know what? I mean, I tried the young guys. I tried the old guys. Deuces. And retired at halftime. Let's talk about that game.
Let's talk about that. The game was, I mean, you know how bad the game was.
The game
when a player retires. So, I mean,
which is hilarious because before halftime, like he got a big stop and was celebrating. Like that's the most ironic part. Like I had such a great time listening to primetime Shannon Sharp talk about this moment, and they're just going absolutely off on each other. It was hilarious.
Luckily, he didn't just put his clothes on and leave. I mean, he could have put his clothes on and literally be like, you know what? I'm going home.
I believe he was getting dressed and they was like, where you going? He's like, I'm done.
I mean, he did get dressed. There's no question about it. He did put his street clothes on, but he didn't leave. He stayed. He actually stayed, which kind of made it.
I mean, it's kind of like that. Oh, and I don't want to compare apples to apples, but you know what I'm talking about because I told you this story a long time ago, where I was playing in the armory, playing some basketball, and a certain person that was an acquaintance of mine got his ankle broken. On the court. And rather than, get up, walk it off, and try to get the person on the other side of the court, like, he got his clothes on and left the armory.
Quit basketball altogether. Put himself on the injured reserve list.
Well, and had the game been over, like, it probably wouldn't have been a bad thing, but, like, that's how I'm comparing this situation. Like, you don't do that. Yeah, like at least wait until the game is over to go away.
Yeah, and you make an excuse after the game is over.
Like sometimes you gotta take that L and then quit. I
think he wanted to leave it all on the field, literally. Like, and that's what he said here. He's like, leaving was therapeutic. I left everything the league wanted. I left everything the league wanted me to be, playing for my teammates while injured. The gladiator mentality. It just all popped, and when it popped, he just decided to leave. It just so happened that it was in the second quarter.
Yeah,
it just so happened that he said, but from my understanding, I believe he retired and then he came back to play with the Bills. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he retired because he used to play on the Colts.
He used to play with the Colts.
Very, very great defensive back with the Colts for a long time. For him, and when the story came out, I was like, "Ugh, that's kind of rough." I was like, and that's why I even wrote on our Facebook page, "Please tell me this is satire. Like, just please tell me this is
not satire whatsoever."
Yeah, like
and he also talked about like how he almost and I believe it was he almost retired during OTAs.
And he probably should have.
And at that point, once he had those doubts, like maybe he should have. But like, and I understand like the warrior mentality, but like, those guys in that locker room with you. I mean, and we hear Ray Lewis talk about this all the time. Like those guys are your brothers in arms. Like, you just don't walk away from that.
I agree. You keep playing until the end.
It's just one of those things. Like had it been after the game, everyone would have gave you daps. Like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, sorry to see you go, but we want you to be happy. But doing it midway through the game, like, and I'm not saying it was a weak move, but it was a weak move.
It was pretty trash. TRASH. Like really trash. Like TRA.
I mean, it was straight trash.
Correctly.
VON. Wait. But seriously though, I mean, we hope all the best for him, and
of course.
Hopefully he's happy with his decision. And I mean, the Bills was already a dumpster fire before this happened.
Yeah. They're not like, looking good.
All this was for us to talk about the Bills for a week or two. That's it. Other than that,
Wednesday night.
Other than that, I mean,
live on YouTube.
Doc and Prof.
That's right.
Team Visualize.
Bam. So looking at everything else, I'm surprised that we had another tie.
You want to talk about? We want to talk about the controversy with that tie. Do you want to talk let's talk about the Clay Matthews penalty? Fair or foul? Was that roughing the passer? Yes or no, sir?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not see it. Because I mean, once it was a tie, I skipped it. I didn't want anything to do with it.
My problem with the rules right now is they leave a lot to last minute interpretations. So if there's a particular rule in the books, it's up to the umpires to decide whether or not this is actually what's happening. So when they called the roughing the passer and there were replays, and Gene Sarator out there in New York even said it wasn't a penalty. Like at first he was trying to, toe that little line, but he's like, no, it really wasn't a penalty. Like it was not a penalty. It was a textbook tackle. He didn't try to pick him up. He didn't try to channel his inner R. Anderson and give him a spine buster. Like he got him down to the ground. That's it. Like I really felt like the referees really blew that call. And of course it's going to lead to overreactions for the league office. And it's going to lead to them making new rules. But I understand why they called it. Like, I don't like the call. I don't agree with the call, but I understand why they did the call. And it's to protect the quarterbacks still. We're talking about
when was this?
This was in overtime.
In overtime.
This was in overtime. Clay Matthews got the hit after Kirk Cousins threw the ball, and a Packers defender intercepted the ball. It was a great interception. And we thought this was going to be it. It's going to turn into a thing. But nope, overturned. It was ridiculous. Yes. Like, how we keep talking about how NBA games, like the referees really dictate the outcome? Like, this is a great example of the referees dictating the outcome for a football game.
Gotcha.
And in overtime, like that, I think that's the part that really grinds my gears. The fact that it was an overtime, like we're trying to get a definitive winner, and now people are going to be asking for a second overtime or a sudden death mode or something like that, because like this is 2 straight ties that we have in the first 2 weeks of the season. Like I can't even remember the last time something like this happened. Like I don't even know if I was even a wink, in Papa Gotti's eye when the last time, the first 2 weeks of the season, we had 2 ties.
Yeah, I don't recall it either. That's why it's so crazy. Like I said, once they said there was another tie, I was just like, I guess Mel P is gonna have another claim at Tom Brady being the GOAT. because that's what Mel P would do.
You know, it's so interesting that he mentions his GOAT candidate because his Patriots, that guy, that guy who wears number 12 from the team from Foxborough, you know, Mr. Thomas Brady. He didn't look like a goat out there, folks.
He looked pretty 40-year-old.
He looked rather mortal to me. I mean, he looked like a guy that. I mean, we said how many years? We said like 2 years ago that he might end up having. I mean, I think we both said about 3-4 years left.
I mean, it looked like he's about to get cut short.
But I mean, his Patriots was smothered by Saxonville defense.
Saxonville, wow. Oh my God!
Am I wrong or right with that though? Did that defense not show up though?
You're right, but the offense looked good. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from the Jacksonville offense, even with, and I think only reason I picked New England.
Blake Bortles nearly had identical game as Nick Foles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the only reason I had picked New England was because of
to quote Dave Fizdale, the new coach for the Knicks, take that for data.
I mean, but that was really the only reason I picked the Patriots was because, you know, Leonard Fournette was out. And again, I think Blake Bortles could just beat the New England Patriots, but he beat the New England Patriots.
He beat the New England Patriots like it was no one's business. Like that defense looked absolute bad. Terrible. Like minus the one interception, like what else did the defense really do?
But honestly, though, nobody really helped Tom Brady. I think you mentioned it on the Facebook page. Gronk got basically stalled out. He looked like an old car in the wintertime, just couldn't start. Now they're bringing in a new guy.
And I agree with that. And it's not so much that he got stomped out. I mean, he only had 2 receptions for 15 yards.
Stalled out. That's what I'm saying. It was
stalled out.
A little stalled.
But like,
stalled a little bit.
I have to applaud the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars because they did a certain, like the scheme that they had where they put Miles Jack out there in the secondary and brought the safety up. That was ingenious. That was very,
it is,
dare I say, Belichick-esque, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree. I mean, like I said, the Jaguars aren't going away.
Someone out Belichick? Is that possible?
He's getting old too. He's getting old.
But I mean,
they're all getting old.
And granted, I didn't watch the full game, and I caught all the highlights. And we're talking like 30 minutes of highlights that I'm watching. So I
think I watched the second quarter to the third quarter, and as I saw the Jaguars starting to pull away, I said, "Oh, Tom." And I think I wrote on one of the Patriots fan Facebook page that said Tom Brady's looking 41 out there.
He's looking rather old.
He's looking old. I mean, his release looks a little slower. I mean, even just coming out of the stance, he looks a little slower.
That's fair.
But we have Josh Gordon coming in. Hopefully
that's a great segue. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that now. I mean,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. Blasphemous.
Come on. Come on. I mean, but Josh Gordon, I think, is going to help everybody else because you can't, if you double Gronk, you leave somebody one-on-one with Josh Gordon, you still got Hogan out there, you still got some of them other receivers. The running game is starting to come along for the Patriots slowly but surely. And it's like maybe Josh Gordon. And I mean,
all the rushers average about 3 yards collectively. Maybe like 3.2. All the rushes for that game, like they averaged like 3 point something. Yeah.
The rookie running back looked good when he was in, but they split it up because Tom Brady really likes James White. So James White gets in the game and then he passes it to him rather than run it. So I think that's just the way they play. But I just hope people don't expect Josh Gordon to be Randy Moss.
I think that's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to take it back to that one was 2007, 2008. No, 2007.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope they don't try to do that because
you want me to tell you how I remember that one? I remember that one because of Eli.
That is so funny here. We're gonna get to you, Eli. Don't you worry. We're gonna open
that door Eli. Soon. Oh, we're about to roast.
Yes, but I feel bad for Corey Coleman.
Yeah, he just cannot catch a break. He is the redheaded stepchild of receivers in the NFL right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
And it all stemmed from him wanting to get out of Cleveland.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
I mean, this is basically the inverse of LeBron James leaving Cleveland.
Yeah, he should have just stayed in Cleveland.
Yeah,
honestly, but he requested a trade, but really he shouldn't have requested a trade. He should have just played it out. Because you think about it, if they released Josh Gordon, he still would have been there. I mean, granted, they could always bring him back, but I can't believe he got let go by the Bills, who can hardly score.
Yep.
And then I have not heard not one peep from Kelvin Benjamin.
I haven't heard anything. I mean, granted, it's the Bills though, so that's kind of why we didn't hear anything.
Now he said that he didn't need Cam, but I mean, I have not heard a peep about Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I heard the same thing once from James Jones when he said that he didn't need LeBron James. Oh wait.
Who's James Jones?
Yeah. For those out there, for you, the people, that's a little bit of homework. Find out who James Jones is, and you'll get the joke.
Who is that guy?
Find out which teams he played for, and you'll definitely get that joke. But speaking of jokes, let's talk about this Sunday night game, or lack thereof.
It was terrible.
I had a chance to watch a little bit of it. And then I was sitting there and I was like, man, I'm starting to get hungry. I already had a nice good dinner. I'm like, I'm just still hungry. What do I want? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get myself some Culver's.
There you go.
So the Duke and I got
Sunday night.
The Duke and I got into the car and we driven out to Culver's. And by the time we get back, you know what changed? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. You got an overpaid wide receiver, overpaid quarterback, overpaid offensive lineman. You got a rookie running back who he's not going to be able to do anything with
He's not going to do anything, and I feel bad.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like, I think my cousin, my brother, they both said he looks like Barry Sanders out there. He has to shake people before he even gets to the offensive line. That's exactly what they said to me. He has to work
so hard. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's
way too much work. Way too much work. But I mean, everybody's looking real average right now.
Not even average. The biggest takeaway that I took from this game, honestly, was both offenses suck and both defenses are actually pretty good. That's literally all I took from that.
Agreed. I think that the Giants defense, they made strides than what they were last year. I mean, granted, the Cowboys scored 20, but I mean, honestly,
I mean, if you really want to think about it, it was really 3-6.
Yes. You think about that long pass to Tavon Austin was kind of ridiculous.
Exactly.
It was kind of crazy, but I mean, Zeke, 78 yards.
78. I mean, we're talking about the guy who people
Yeah, he was doing it all night, but
he obviously kept missing his mouth. Yeah, he kept taking the spoon and is putting it here in his ear.
Now I'm starting to get the belly shirts. It's because he's missing his mouth and the milk is actually spilling on the bottom half of his shirt, and he's wiping his beard with it, so he has to cut it off. He has to cut it off and wipe his face.
I literally had to sit through a 15-minute rant. It was a good rant from the Duchess about that. Not only that, but also Cam Newton's post-game.
His mom outfit.
His mom, where is he? I'm about to, boy, you better get out this classroom. What I told you about acting up in class? Why not turn back up in class?
On my lunch break, you acted up. I mean, I don't know what's up with Cam. I mean, obviously he has to be trying to help a friend, be a designer somewhere. Like he has to be.
I don't know. I don't even think I care. Like
it's not care worthy.
Like he's just kind of there right now. Like we're talking about a former NFL MVP just not playing up to par. But let's talk about this game one more time. I mean,
it's really trash.
And I mentioned this on social media. I'm like, this is a game between two of probably one of the worst teams in the NFC. Hands down.
I mean, it's still early, but they're not looking good.
I don't even care if it's this early. Like
the Cowboys' defense looks a little better than the Giants' defense.
That I will agree with.
The Eagles didn't look impressive. I think that this might be the year that the NFC East really doesn't shine. Like the Eagles literally might make the playoffs with
just out of technicality. Exactly.
Yeah, because
the Cowboys after week 2 is ranked 19th. Like, and I feel like that's still too high.
And I think we did talk about that when we first started, and I think that they were fifth? They were 14. I think actually I have week 1 up here. Let me see where the Cowboys were week 1.
Come on,
week 1.
Let's see what they got.
Actually, no, the Cowboys were 22, so they actually moved up.
They went up 6. I was gonna say that, but I figured I'll let you just get that.
No, I have it. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's crazy. I think that
I felt like they didn't do anything that would warrant going up 6 ranks.
But then again, it might not be them doing their part to move up 6 ranks. It might be the 6 teams that did terrible to move down.
Yes.
That's how bad it is. If you think about it, the Giants would have had to move down. I mean, right now, the Bucs are ranked number 7. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you're looking at teams that are below, the Giants. I mean, below the Cowboys, and you're like, okay, I guess I can kind of see why they're saying that, But I mean, to me, it's
crazy that the Bucs are 7 and the Packers are 5.
Well, that is crazy.
Like I feel like if there's a team that 2 teams that should switch, I think that team should be switched around.
Let me look at it really quickly here. The Patriots.
I mean, we could go through this right now. Let's go top 10, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we're gonna talk about the power rankings, but let's do it right now. But before we do that, we gotta talk about tonight's sponsor.
Hilarious. Let's see what you got.
I don't always sip, but when I do, I drink sip.
Wow.
Mojito Berry. Pick it up at your local market. This is actually really, really good. And it's actually a really good mixer as well, too. So if you enjoy making yourself some mixed drinks, check it out. We got this from Market Street, actually, which is a local Dallas market, I guess you could say. But it's actually pretty good. So you get yourself a chance, try some sip. Stay thirsty, my friends.
That's hilarious. And you took your glasses off just to do that. It's hilarious.
And we're back.
Sweet. But so I understand what you're saying. So let's look at number 1, the Rams. Their defense is pretty tremendous. Their offense is still coming along. Todd Gurley did great the last couple games. Not so much the first game, but the second game really looked good.
I mean, honestly, I didn't see a lot of flaws in their game.
Yeah, I expected the Rams to be number 1. I expected the Jaguars to be number 2. I think if it was up to me, just looking at this right away, I probably would put the Chiefs at number 3.
Yeah, I would put the Chiefs at number 3. I mean, and that one right there, like 3 and 4, I'm okay with it either way because both teams offensively is playing tremendous. if you really think about it.
I mean,
like,
and then,
they're playing really good right now.
I think what you mentioned with the Packers, I could kind of understand that. I think that I would probably put the Bucks, Packers, then the Patriots. I didn't think the Patriots looked like a number 16.
I felt like the Patriots played like a team that shouldn't be in the top 10, but I can't say that because Patriots fans will get mad at me.
Yeah.
But and I'm only saying this because I know that the Patriots are probably going to end up redeeming themselves. So I felt like them going down out of the top 10 would give them the motivation to do more, especially with Josh Gordon coming in and stuff like that. And who knows? Maybe they got number 6 because maybe they're only number 6 because of the Josh Gordon trade. I don't know. I mean, is it acceptable for us to give a team a ranking based off of someone who hasn't even played yet? Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, that happens very often.
Man, I'm just
looked like sound like you had a brawny in your throat.
I had to wash that down with some sip. Apparently, I gotta stay thirsty, my friends. I don't know who that guy was before.
Oh my god! But the number 8, 9, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm okay with it. I feel pretty bad for the Bengals, who are the only 2-0 team that. Oh, actually, no, the Bengals and the Dolphins. Only 2-0 teams that aren't at least in the top 10.
Yep.
You know, I'm surprised they get the Bucks this time.
I feel like the Bengals didn't get any respect, and I feel like it's based off of previous seasons.
I feel like it's based on Marvin Lewis.
I feel like it's also based off of Marvin Lewis. But I also think it's because of previous seasons too, which, I mean, I always still have a problem with it. Like, and I always look at the season based off of the actual season that's taking place, not based off of last year's. Because if that's the case, then, I mean, there's a lot of teams that would be like coming into the season 3-0 and not like 1-1 or 0-2. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Call a spade a spade. That's right.
But I mean, other notable ones, I mean, the Steelers, they're free falling. You know, the Dolphins, I mean, they're 2-0. I really felt like that's not respect on them, but that's because no one cares about the Dolphins, and I feel like that's the result of it. Even the Broncos at 2-0.
Right.
I mean, and that's a surprising 2-0.
They are. And, you know, I feel like the Raiders and the Seahawks are who we thought they were.
Yep. I mean, a big surprise was the Texans so far this season. I mean, the biggest surprise, because Deshaun Watson is playing terrible.
Now, I mean, when you look at it, they matched up against the Patriots the first week. I mean, not a great matchup, you know. I mean, they brought it back, and they almost, you know, had a chance to win the game late. But I mean, that's second week though. I mean, against the Duke's Titans, I mean, I don't want to talk bad against the Duke's Titans and the local LeBron maniac. I know he loves those Titans too. But
yeah, we probably end up having the Duke just walk over here and like, you just gotta make sure that you don't piss off the Duke.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I mean, he might want to Duke it out.
Oh, that's a good plug. But
that was a good plug.
I mean, if you look at the lower half of things, like, honestly, the Seahawks, like, we could quickly talk about the Seahawks, and you heard me mention this before. Pete Carroll might get fired. Like, can you at least agree with me with that? Because I know you're kind of on the fence about that opinion, but, like, can you at least agree that Pete Carroll is looking towards the final years of his career as a head coach?
I'm not sure. I think he might quit, though. I don't know about getting fired. But I really feel he might quit and go back to college or take the Browns job.
And I can see him going to the Browns too. I can see him going to the Browns, but I feel like they need a different coach. I feel like they need a different coach.
Coaches out of retirement. Let's just get Bill Cowher, or let's get I don't know, Jonathan Coachman. I don't know. Let's bring them all out. Teddy Long can coach the Browns.
How play a player?
But last thing we wanted to talk about here, obviously the Bears beat up on Russell Westbrook. Oh God!
Oh
Russell
God!
Wilson
wait! Put that money in the jar! Wait a minute! Put that money in the jar! You did it!
Russell Wilson. Dang it! I was so close to making it.
And you thought I was going to forget about it too, and you just did it. I'm like, yep, put that money in the jar.
But the Bears was all over them. I mean, I didn't think the Bears looked great. Only reason I watched is because I had Jordan Howard in my fantasy league, and I wanted to make sure he got his points. I don't think the Bears are going to be great this year, but it's exciting to watch only because of Khalil Mack.
Yes, and I feel like he is the marquee player. Like throughout that whole team, like even Mitchell Trubisky, who still, he didn't have a terrible game, but his performance paled in comparison to what Khalil Mack did.
Right, it's all about Khalil Mack.
Exactly, it's all about Khalil Mack this season. Like the Bears may end up being a wild card team because of him.
I agree. He might literally take over a game.
Like he is doing what we've seen, like Ray Lewis, LT, like all these great linebackers of the past, and is literally being a centrifugal force for a football game.
Boom. Now looking on to week 3, let's go top 3 games. Any games that you're just looking forward to seeing next week? I don't want to go through all of them. I mean, last week we went through all of them, and I mean, I was terrible. Let's just look at 3.
You just don't do any reads. You don't do any reads at all.
Let's just look at 3 or 4 that you might be like, okay, this game I look forward to seeing.
Really quickly, Browns going to get their first win tomorrow. Oh, I'm saying it right now. Browns going to get their first win tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's only because it's Thursday night game.
I think the Jets defense have gotten.
And here's why the Browns are going to win. Because midway through the second quarter, there's going to be a quarterback change.
Wow, you think so? Okay. You think there's going to be a little interference there?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I got to give a bold prediction. I have to.
Real bold.
I have to.
You got to be bold to wear that gold.
You got to be bold to wear the gold. I mean, I want to see what Patrick Mahomes do in week 3 against the 49ers. A 49ers team that is looking absolutely bad. Like, Jimmy G is, counting his money, but he's not trying to win games.
And that's so weird. That's so crazy to me.
I mean, he's obviously sat there macking that actress.
Right.
Yes, we're just gonna leave it as actress and move on.
Actress. Yes.
The Titans versus the Jaguars. That's gonna be a fun game to watch. We're talking about 2 really good teams. I mean, you gotta say Blake Bortles can make it 2 for 2 with that 300-yard game. I mean,
agreed.
We got to see if Leonard Fournette's going to come back. So we're talking 2 really good run-heavy dependent teams. It's going to be smash mouth football. I mean, it's going to be football, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to take a quick look, I think the Jets and Browns game is going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be great.
And a fun game is going to be the Cowboys versus the Seahawks.
I was going to say that, but I feel like their games are always fun, but not this year. I just don't know.
And it's only fun because that was the first game I went to when I moved out to Dallas, and the Seahawks won. So I feel like the Cowboys are going to win this one, just to spite me.
Okay. Hey,
but of course, the most important game of week 3 is the Monday night game, which is the Steelers versus your Buccaneers.
That's right. It is the most important game. This
is the game that I say that they'll lose. This is the game. Right before the season started, I said this was the game that they'll lose.
I don't believe that. I think that we're going to have the Steelers ticket.
And I totally believe that now, but like I'm, sticking to the guns, the 2-1. Yeah, like
I definitely understand. I'm definitely looking forward to the Bucks and Steelers. Obviously, that's going to be a game to watch. The Patriots versus the Lions. Matt Patricia and the Lions versus the Patriots. I mean, I imagine the Patriots are going to win,
the Patriots
but it's
gonna
going to be
whoop them.
interesting.
The Patriots gonna whoop him. How many Belichick disciples faced off against Belichick and won? Don't worry, I'll wait.
I don't think they really have much success. But other than that, I'm also looking forward to seeing the Saints versus the Falcons. I think that's going to be somewhat interesting because
I feel like you only feel this way because it's going to have implications towards the end of the season. Exactly. It's like I know these things, ladies and gentlemen. I know these things.
And then I'm also looking to see what Khalil Mack does against the Cardinals.
I feel like he's going to be, feasting on the Cardinals.
Right
just
here.
Feasting. Just absolutely feasting.
And he don't have to worry about cutting his shirt to clean his beard because he's going to be eating Cardinal stew all night long.
Wow.
So let's see here. Let's move away from football. Save some things for some final thoughts here. Let's go to the hardwood. Where were you when you found out that the 76ers hired Elton Brand to fill their GM role?
I was actually at a arcade with my normal 9-to-5 job, doing some networking, actually playing some video games, enjoying some craft beers, which I actually had a apple spice ale, which was actually delicious. So of course, when a certain Doc podcasting beasts come out here to the Lone Star, I'll be sure to take him out there. But I was there when it dropped, and I immediately was like, this is something we got to talk about on the show because that's some pretty big news there. We're talking about a player who had so much, who contributed so much to two organizations. That's both the Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Clippers. And we're talking about a Clippers team where at a time they led the NBA as far as wins for a good majority of the season. Of course, it backfired towards the tail end of it, but like the fact that they was able to start off so hot, it was because of the contributions that Elton Brand brought in as a basketball player. And the stuff that he did with Philadelphia was definitely nothing to frown upon. I mean, in fact, if anything, you should be marveled by. It's Marvel, baby. Like, marveled by all the things that he's done. Now that he gets a chance to actually be in an executive role, like, I'm completely happy for him. Now, will it have any impact towards the process? I don't think so.
Right.
I honestly don't think it's going to have any kind of negative implications with it. Like, I really feel like what he's going to pull is, I think they got him there because he's a player who a lot of players actually respect. And that's going to help out when it comes to recruiting for this upcoming offseason, because there's a lot of players that's going to be free agents this coming offseason.
Agree. And obviously he retired 2 years ago. He did have a really successful 17-year career. And in the last year or so, he has spent there basically as a player development consultant. So, I mean, when you think about the last year or so, player development consultant, that's pretty much the whole process. I mean, they've been developing players for the last 2 years, and it just so happens that he's been there for the last year, one of the last years. So I would think that he is a good person to bring in. He knows the game. I'm not sure if it's going to be, I don't know. When I think of GM, of course, I just think of Daryl Morey. I think of, some of these guys that build these teams. But I think that the coach is going to have a lot more power than Elton Brand. And that's where it gets kind of weird. And I guess they'll be making decisions together. I was just kind of shocked when I heard the name Elton Brand. And I'm sure, like, because you always think about people trying to steal people away from the Spurs, or steal people away from the 70, not the 76ers, the Warriors.
The Warriors,
hey, I'm going to go try to steal somebody from the Celtics. You know what I mean? Like, people who are building. But looks like they say, you know what? We're going to hire within. Because that's how we do things in the metropolitan area. I mean, that's what they do, I guess. But I mean, I was just kind of shocked. I was actually sitting here, having a little powwow, I guess you can say. My 2K character is getting better and better. I think I'm going to claim myself one of the best centers in the game.
That's a pretty bold claim there, sir.
Yeah, the last couple of days I've been balling. I've been getting 15 and 16 rebounds. I'm just playing my part.
Balling.
That's right, balling. But I think based on everything I'm showing here, we are at endgame.
We are at endgame, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for us to do our final thoughts. Every single week, we provide final thoughts for you to think about during the week from both myself and the podcasting beast. And as we always do, we're always going to start off with the Doc. Doc, what you got?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not sure if we mentioned it last week or if it happened after the game, but didn't know if we gave any props to the Seattle Storm for winning the championship. I know I posted it on Facebook.
No, we did not. And that was going to be a final thought of mine, but I'm so glad you took it away. Go for it.
I mean, it's not a rollie, it's a stoley.
I see what you did there.
But yeah, I mean, they had a great series. Looks like they won 4-2 over the Mercury. And I mean, next year I'm going to really try to commit to watching more games. And I want you to hold me honest to that, because they don't advertise it. So you're really going to have to hold me honest to it and like tell me like, hey, there's a game on tonight.
Actually,
so I can watch it.
Next year I am planning on going to see some Mavericks games, especially when they play the Knicks out here. Hopefully they play the Knicks out here, or the Rockets actually. As well as catching some Dallas Wings games too. Like, I think it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting. It'll be, something new, hip, and, in Daddy-O, so to speak. But
there you go. That's the way to do it. Now, hopefully I'll be out there also just to watch my Rockets play.
Hey.
Next, John Gruden says it's hard out here to find a good pass rusher.
Oh my God.
It's hard out here to find a good pass rusher.
You know what's hard, John Gruden? Being a pimp, maintaining straight A's, trying to argue against LeBron Maniacs. Those things are hard. Getting a pass rush, that's pretty easy. In fact, you had a pass rush and you let him go. That's on you.
Literally, let him go. Let him
Okay, if that costs your job, you deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. My next final thought
John Gruden about to make me start the hashtag Gotti list. List of Gotti. Plug it in, man.
Oh, wow. Plug it in. So the next final topic, I know we talk about esports pretty often. There was an interesting article that I did post on the Facebook group page about how EA Sports' decision, really a terrible decision at that, kind of to focus more on Madden than live. I mean, they kind of pulled it. And I mean, I used to love NBA Live, and then it got kind of weird toward the end. And if you recall, 2K was really terrible.
It was very terrible.
It was really stiff. You had to I don't even remember how to actually.
You basically had to do like the Konami code to do a spin move. It was pretty bad.
It was terrible. But yeah, EA pulled the plug on live, which kind of left an opportunity for 2K to say, you know what, if they're gonna go and focus so much on football, we're gonna pull out, because I mean 2K was making football games, you know, for a while, and they even tried to lower their price, make their game $20-$30 cheaper.
Yep.
Than Madden. But I mean, ultimately, they got out of football. They say, you know what, we're going to stick with basketball, and it's going to be all good. I think Madden got the NFL rights, so it kind of, you know, that's kind of how they worked around it. So 2K say, you know what, we're going to focus primarily on basketball. This year's game is really, really good. I'm not going to lie. They really did their thing this year. Only thing I hate about 2K players is that nobody wants to be the next Shaq in the game, the next Kareem, and then everybody wants to be the next Stephen Curry.
Of course, because that's how the game has evolved now.
You know, and the thing about it is that when you watch people play, and me and my brother talk about this all the time, when you watch people play in the game, people don't know the game of basketball. They just know that they know how to dribble and shoot. And that's where it gets kind of tricky. So that's why I made a center. As I was like, you know what? I'm going to get down there and do some dirty work, grab some rebounds. And that's what I do. And I'm damn good at it too. But my last final thought here, just wanted to go over the power rankings that you mentioned on Facebook, since we don't have an October guy. But you did post on Facebook the updated rankings. This is a couple days ago, so I'm just going to read the one that was posted here. That one had the Boston Red Sox at number 1 at 103-47, the Houston Astros at 94-55, the Oakland A's at 90-60, the Brewers at 85-65, the Cubbies at 87-62, the Yanks at number 6 at 91-58, the Tampa Bay Rays at 82-66, the Dodgers at 82-68, Braves at 83-66, and the Cleveland Indians at 83-66. Will someone please call Senor October and tell him to come and talk about baseball?
I mean, obviously it's pretty much fall now, but we're still looking for the leaves to fall to tell us it's about to be October.
It's really close. Really close. Let's see what you got.
Oh boy. But if you don't mind, sir, I will provide my final thoughts. You start off with esports. I'm going to start off with esports as well, too. SoCal Regional happened this past weekend. I'm just going to talk about Street Fighter V. But one name I want to talk about who made it the top 8. The person you enjoy making fun of made it to top 8. Punk was a top 8. It's actually quite hilarious. Him and your boy Sonic Fox. Not so much was doing banter back and forth, but since they're on the same team, like, you know, there was some friendly things happening. And during one of Punk's matches, Sonic Fox walked up on stage and put the fox ears on Punk's head. It was hilarious. And then Punk lost like the first 2 games because he put on the fox ears again, but he had it on backwards, so like the power didn't emanate. So that was like one of the biggest takeaways right there. Like their interaction was amazing. But I kind of like that about esports. Mm-hmm. The person who won was Sako. I know you haven't heard of him before, but he's a Monat player. Monat is sneaky good. And I don't think a lot of people give, you know, Monat players a lot of credit. Now, Alex players, I feel bad for you because he absolutely stink. I saw a couple of games where Alex was put into a corner and it's just curtains for him. It's curtains for you completely. Abigail, on the other hand, was the Abigail in the top 8. It was Storm Kubo. You don't know him. I don't know him as well, too, but congrats to him. Bone Chan, you heard me talk about Bone Chan a lot. He plays 4th. His teammate, they're both with the team that Daigo's on, actually, Cyborg Beast, along with all the other different sponsors that Daigo is under. He placed third with his Ken and Akuma combo. And the runner-up for Street Fighter V at SoCal Regional was Zhao Hai with his Kami. So that's actually pretty good. Other notable name was Momochi. He tied with seventh, playing with his Colleen, Akuma, and Ken. So congrats to everyone. It was actually pretty fun to watch. I mainly watched the highlights. I haven't had a chance to do it because of things happening. But another big news happened in esports, and I was surprised you didn't see this. So last week I talked about Hungrybox, your boy, talking about his battle with depression. But one of his greatest rivals is actually hanging him up when it comes to Super Smash Bros. Melee. And that person name is Armada.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't actually hear that at all.
Yes. He basically said, I feel like if I can't have fun doing this, then there's no point in doing it. So, and I understand that. I mean, they've been playing Melee for well over a decade. Smash 4 just was not happening. And unfortunately, that community still is kind of, it's not necessarily good yet. Like they gotta get, well, not so much strong, but like they have to get more mature. And we talked about a couple of instances that happened in the Smash 4 community. Heck, during the summertime, like just stuff is happening, and they just have to get better. But that's definitely some big news. Former Evo champion. Probably one of the best Fox players in the game in Melee. He's definitely surely be missed in the Smash Melee community. So
there you go.
That was definitely something interesting. Another thing that happened that actually just dropped in my timeline. Apparently, some fans was throwing some racial slurs out to Deshaun Watson during the game. Basically was saying that the team can't count on a black quarterback. So yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, of course, Watson's not feeling perturbed by it. Of course, he had to comment about it, because the reporter's going to ask about everything because, the media today is basically TMZ, but that's besides the point.
Right. Shame.
But that was just something that just came across my timeline that was very interesting. But the last thing I want to talk about actually was the NBA actually dropped their top 100 players. And you'll never guess who's number one.
Kevin Durant?
No. I'm gonna get the top 10, but I just want you to see if you'll guess it. I'll give you 2 more tries.
I mean, most likely it's going to be LeBron.
It is LeBron James.
I mean, it should be KD,
So LeBron James is number 1. KD is number 2. Anthony Davis is number 3. Steph Curry is number 4. James Harden is number 5. Kawhi Leonard's number 6. The Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo is number 7. Russell Westbrook, not Wilson, is number 8. CP3 Chris Paul is number 9, and rounding out the top 10, Joel Embiid. So it's very Western Conference heavy in the top 10.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, currently right now, we only have 2 of them that's in the top 10 with Kawhi and Giannis, but I mean, that was the conference. I mean, there's a reason why we keep saying that the Eastern Conference is not that strong. This is the reason why we say this.
And I think that Kawhi being there and not playing a whole year, I don't know. I mean, they say he looks good, but I don't know.
I mean, LeBron James, they still hail him as the best player in the world. So, I mean, it's understandable. But I felt like Kevin Durant usurped his throne. But I'm not going to argue about it. But those are my final thoughts, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic final thoughts as normal.
Hey, I just try to be like you. But tonight's outro track is from Tone Deaf from his 2005 album Archetype. The name of the track is called Politics. And the reason we chose this track was he actually uploaded a very interesting video today, actually, talking about, you know, his passion for music and how, you know, a lot of his sounds even back in the day, and you'll hear it with this track tonight, folks, a lot of his tracks was before its time. And you see that you see like a lot of the melodies and the hook progressions and the flows and the lyrics in a lot of artists today, but like this was way back when, and he was doing it since then. And you know, at the time, like, you know, internet producers, internet hip-hop artists was pretty much frowned upon in hip-hop community, and nowadays, like, we have people just, you know, basically freestyling off a piece of paper.
Whenever you want.
Make sure I don't get shot up, you know. Gotta make sure I don't, you know, falsely make a crowd do a picture with me while trying to do something else.
Oh wow, I can't believe you went there.
But make sure you check out Tone Deaf stuff. As always, his music is absolutely amazing. I've been listening to him since like 2008, and even out here in 2018, his music has not faltered whatsoever. But definitely give his stuff a listen to. He put all the links out there in the YouTube video, so make sure you check him out. Always make sure you support our artists as well too. Tone Deaf for tonight, and Croup Dog with the greatest intro track in all of podcasts. But make sure you catch us every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. You can catch us offline on Google Podcasts, iTunes, FM Radio, actually Player FM, and any and all podcast applications on your Android and Apple devices. But thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I am the Professor John Gotti.
And this is the podcast beast, Doc Lesnar.
And we'll catch you again next time. Same podcast time. Wait, that's not it. If you do with me, good night. Mwah, and goodbye. Bang.
Taste the ocean.
I'm sick and tired of these politics. I can't sleep and I can't think and I can't live, cause I'm sick and tired of these politics.
Mercy me. At this point in my career, I should already be on my third CD, but every turn of the way has been met with adversity. But I'm cursed, it seems, and I've been disserviced purposely. And it's urges like these that have got my blood boiling to the third degree. And I'm nervously avoiding this urge to disperse and scream, feeling the thirst for revenge. I can no longer pretend that mentally I will be plummeted off the deep end. I'm desperately seeking these trendy motherfuckers just so I can teach them never to speak on any of this. Is something you want to say? Get that other rapper's cock at your throat. One day he's been coming out your face. I never doubt the plague, cause we infect against even the best medicines and vaccines, sedatives and Bactrim. I'm fed up with the rap scene, as I'm dealing with an amount of politics that would even give the president bad dreams. Oh shit.
I can't breathe and I can't see and I can't move, cause I'm sick and tired of these politics. I can't sleep and I can't think and I can't live, cause I'm sick and tired of these politics.
Everything you see in here was paid for, so don't try to discredit me, cause my shit isn't played more. Just imagine having to wait bored at the stage door, cause nothing aches worse than a name on a marquee when it ain't yours, and they trying desperately to make noise, but all you get's hate from biased record pools that'll chart anything for the next crate, or elitist DJs that only spin vinyl. But give them a Nas exclusive MP3 and they'll play the shit dead. These vicious double standards can be seen in many arenas of the game. From radio go burn to video screens, it's just the same. From magazines to mix CJs, you give them the green, they give the okay, cause niggas are greedy leading the race. They say you're a dream is spit in your face, and it isn't easy to look away when you're focused on your budding career, pumped up with potential, but you can't find nothing from here. Need anything done, then you gotta do it yourself with no help. When you make it on your own, then everyone shows to share their whole wealth. But oh well, another day in the cold hell, when everyone riding their coattails of the same cast that pray your record don't sell. I won't settle for no remarks about room for improvement. When you prove it, you and five and refuse to review the music, bitch, you're fronting on the future. Stop watching your back and face forward. Review is best to listen to this like they paid for it. This what the fuck, do I need to get shot to get props? Do you need talent? I guess not, but with drug money and it gets spotty, you spend lots on the track. For the producer of the month, and that'll induce you with the buzz that'll get you new scoops in the pub. But buddy, I'm flat broke, so on that note, I'll say goodbye to articles, bookings for college shows, distribution pushing us hard for dough. Then you wonder why you're seeing the same niggas over and over. The more original the flow, then the colder the shoulder. The same reason you can't stand that verse you heard, the same reason you know it word for word. Dog, it's politics.
I can't breathe, and I can't see, and I can't move, cause I'm sick and tired of these politics. I can't sleep, and I can't think, and I can't live, cause I'm sick and tired of these politics.
My patience is drifting, cause I'm in no political position or famous enough to state my opinion of this game and its minions. I'm staying silent and numb, cause you can't put your foot in your mouth or swallow your words while you're biting your tongue. So with nice guy reluctance, I'm fighting my grudges. And it's hard to be polite with others when you'd rather take a knife to fuckers. Is my final shot at diplomacy, believe this. Swing for your third strike, I'm calling you out on the remix.
Thank you.